Good day, team. I'm Connor Brown. I'll be your facilitator for today. What we'll be discussing is effective troubleshooting for technicians and basic troubleshooting techniques. So, troubleshooting. What is troubleshooting? Troubleshooting is basically identifying an issue, solving the issue, and prevent the issue from reoccurring in the future. So, it's basically knowing what's the issue. And in order to do this, we have to understand certain approach. So our objective today will be to list key troubleshooting steps, identify basic troubleshooting tools, follow structured problem solving methods, and apply troubleshooting in the real world scenario. So these are what you guys should gain at the end of this presentation. Now, introduction to troubleshooting. As earlier mentioned, it's a methodological approach to solve problems. Meaning you're not going to hopscotch around the issue. You have to take a systematic approach in understanding the issue. Okay? So that is basically the definition. Is it important? Yes. Why? It addresses root causes and reduces recurring issues. And that's the whole aim why we do troubleshooting, to get rid of recurring issues. Do we need to have a specific mindset to carry out this function? Yes. As I said before, you have to be very patient. You have to be an analytical thinker, or think analytically, because problems can throw you here and there, and you just have to think about it in a specific manner. And curiosity is crucial. Reason being why it's crucial is that at times you may have to be asking yourself questions and try and answering those questions. So having a curious mind is sometimes good to fill in those unknowns. Alright, so in order to start troubleshooting, there are certain processes or steps which you have to take, and it's mainly four. So first we have to identify the issue. What's the issue? You have to identify, gather information through relevant questioning. So, for example, you're printing a paper from the printer and it's stopped. Now, that's the problem. So you identify the issue. Printer stopped. Paper jam probably. So that's identifying the issue. Next, you have to isolate. Now, during the isolation process, it can be a numerous amount of stuff that can cause the paper to jam, right? Now, you have to rule out possible causes, and it's always easier to start with the simpler stuff first, and then rule out going along the complex one. For example, you go in your car, you try to start your car, the car is not starting. You would just jump and say, oh, the ECU is not working. What would be the first step, what you guys would do in that step?
Check batteries.
Exactly, because that would be a simpler approach. And if the battery is good, then you could say, alright then, let's check if there's gas in it. So those are easier to rule out than to go into the complexity of the equipment. Once you isolate possible causes, then this is where you come up or formulate an approach. So you're going to apply what you think, alright? So this is where you're going to use effective fixes and not temporary patches. Now, we're going back to the printer case, right? What kind of fix would you guys apply to a paper jam?
First, we have paper.
Look at the paper and check it where it jam. See what if I bungle up in there.
Yeah, I'll pull it out,
Pull out the tray.
and see what's going on.
Exactly. So in this case, it could be we could isolate for say, for example, the paper was crimped. So that could be an issue. So we'll isolate that, right? Then we could check to see if we have enough paper. You understand? And all those. So we could see if the traction pad is good, right? So, for example, we identify say it's a traction pad. Now we would have to source that mechanism dismantle the printer and replace it. Now, a simple reset or removing the jam paper may solve it, but is it a valid fix? Maybe not. But by identifying the component and change it, you know that's a definite fix. So that's where we move on to verifying, right? Now, after the troubleshooting process, we're going to move on to basic troubleshooting tools. Now, doing troubleshooting, we can't just go there and look at equipment and expect it, you know, to fix itself. We have to work with some basic tools. So now, a multimeter is a very popular tool that we use to diagnose electrical components or electrical circuits. Now, this is a clamp multimeter. Now, based on what you're looking for, you could check for the amperage, the resistance, or voltage of whether AC or DC. It depends on the circuit that you're working on. Now, if for example, a relay not getting power, what function would you guys use to check why is that relay not getting power using the multimeter? Voltage, that's correct. Now, with voltage, there's two components. There's the AC and the DC. So you have to actually know what power system you're working on to select the correct function. Now, next, screwdrivers. Now, how are you going to access the device or the components within the device? You know, a simple tool like a screwdriver is very, very helpful. Now, you have different type of screwdrivers. These screwdrivers are electrical screwdrivers, so they're insulated. So these are mainly used when working on electrical systems or components. And you also have terminals. These are used when you're working on smaller components. So it all depends on what you're working on. You would select the desired tool. Now, with our age being modernized and we're moving on to, you know, AI and all those stuff, you realize this won't work, this won't work, and this is where we have to move on to, you know, software diagnostic tools. Example, you're driving your car, you see an engine light comes up. A screwdriver won't help you at that point. A multimeter can help you, but guess what? We'll have to know the system good, you know, like the back of your hand, to really just use a multimeter to know where to go and to trace the problem. But guess what? If you get a diagnostic tool and software for OBD2, connect it to the car COM port, you scan it, it tells you exactly what is wrong with the equipment. Likewise, our spreaders, right? When we're having a no communication issue or a missing sensor and we're not readily able to identify those defective components, we could go for the computer, connect the computer, run a log check, and that check would bring up all the faults on that equipment, and then we're able to isolate what is necessary, what is not necessary, and can zone in on that specific component or that section of the circuit. So it's basically analyze system performance and identify errors. So this one is a big help in modern time. Alright, so this is it now. Troubleshooting. We get a task, don't know what to do. You know, this is where we employ, you know, a root cause analysis. And basically all that is uncovering underlying issues and not just the symptoms. Alright, remember the same example with the printer. While doing our root cause analysis, eliminating possible causes, we're delve deep into the issue and apply a fix and not just correct just the symptom. Next, this is a popular method. You know, I think this is widely used compared to others, but it's mainly depend on the industry, but this one can use across a broad range of industries in order to solve issues. 5 why, the 5 why method. It may seem simple, but it's very, very effective. And that is simply asking why repeatedly to reveal the root causes. Alright? And I don't want us in here to think, you know, linearly, meaning, for example, the spreader, the flipper is not working. Why? It's not getting power. Why? You can have multiple whys to start with, but you just eliminate which one you think, you know, is the worst one, and you just go down. So a lot of person think it's just linear. You start with one, you go next one, next one, next one, but you can start with multiple whys and then select which part you want to go to. And common mistakes to avoid: jumping to conclusions. Now, this one would lead you down a rabbit hole. You understand? You have to take a systematic approach, levels to it. If you just jump to conclusions, you will say, you know, I think it's this. You go there, it's not that. Oh, I think it's that. You go there, it's not that. So at the end of the day, you still don't know what the root cause is, because you're just jumping round here and there and not addressing the issue, because you're not taking a logical approach to solving the issue. And whenever we're doing that, we need to test thoroughly before implementing a fix. Like I normally say, double check, recheck, and ask someone to verify. This is simply to ensure that whatever you're saying you're going to fix, or whatever method you're going to use, it is actually the problem that you want to solve. Alright, so we need to take these key approaches if we want to have the mindset, the logical approach, the systematic approach in solving issues. I think a lot of persons generally fall into this category, and this is the reason why we need to educate persons and using this in order to do proper troubleshooting or apply proper troubleshooting technique. Now, this is a video. It explains in detail or in depth the 5 whys. So you can pretty much have a look at this video.
Systems platform user, no matter the industry or size, you can simply use your data better with Hubway Connect. You can eliminate your API backlog in minutes. Start to easily leverage analytics tools, helping your organization to get customized reports and dashboard faster.
14
Better
seconds.
data
It's not
insights,
skipping.
better decisions are made. Go to hubwayconnect.com and start your free trial today.
Are you facing a problem that you want to solve by using the 5 whys root cause analysis technique? Or have you used this technique already, but you couldn't solve your problem? Then you should make sure to watch this video until the end, because I will tell you what you are probably doing wrong and how to use the 5 whys the right way. Let's jump right into the content. First, let me show the structure of this video. The first point I want to address is what the 5 whys in general is. Then I want to show you what most people are doing wrong by using the 5 whys with a practical example. And in the end, I want to show you what you could do instead in order to solve the problems efficiently and to fix the problems of the 5 whys. So, what is the 5 whys technique? The 5 whys is a technique to identify root causes of a problem. Why do we use such techniques? Well, in order to solve a problem, we need to identify the root cause first and then tackle them. Without finding the root cause, we are only fighting against the symptoms of the problem. Without fixing the root cause, the problem will occur once in a while again. After clarifying what the 5 whys root cause analysis is, let's jump on how people use it. Now I will show you the generic steps, and afterwards we will do an example together. So the first step is people who use the 5 whys formulate the problem statement. Then they question it 5 times with a why. And after the 5th time, people think they have identified the root cause. So let's use this technique with an example. Let's use the example of being late for work. So the problem statement is, you are late for work. Now you ask yourself, why are you late for work? One possible answer is, you woke up late. Now you ask again, why? And the answer could be, the alarm clock didn't ring. Why didn't it ring? Because the alarm was not set. Why wasn't it set? Because you forgot to set it. Now the question, why did you forget that? And the answer is, maybe you were just too tired in the evening. This is how most people use the 5 whys. It's a linear process for them. This might work, but to be honest, this approach is full of flaws. Let me show you why. People forget that for every why, there is not only one answer. We are moving only in a biased direction. That's why we only identify one root cause, which in the end probably is not the right one or not the only one. We have to think broader than that. After every why, don't be happy with one result. Think more broadly. In order to enable divergent thinking, so thinking more broadly, we have to use the logic tree. In another video, I explained a root cause analysis technique based on the logic tree in detail. If you want to gain an in-depth knowledge, please make sure to watch it too. Otherwise, I will explain it briefly in this video. Now, I will show you how to use the 5 whys effectively with a logic tree. Let's take our late for work problem. The first step is to frame the problem. When I say frame, let's take a picture of the problem itself. Here you can see basically your way to work. What are the components you could structure our problem? So I see there is a street, there is you as a component, and also your vehicle, and also other traffic participants. Let's build the logic tree based on our observations. We will have one branch per component. So your vehicle, the road, other participants, and you. Now we can refine each branch with asking, why could this component be the root cause? For your vehicle, why could the vehicle be the problem? Are there issues with the vehicle, like the engine didn't start a couple of times in the morning? Why the road? Is there a construction site that is usually not there, which causes a delay? Why other participants? Was there a traffic jam? And finally, why you? Have you made wrong decisions while driving? So maybe you just took the wrong road, or maybe you were just calling with a friend in the morning and just forgot to go to the right direction. Or did you drive too slowly? Or did you wake up later? As you see, waking up later in this picture is only one possibility. But the previous 5 whys example focused directly on this, ignoring all the other paths. And this is the power of the logic tree and the flaw of using the 5 whys incorrectly. So let's stop making the 5 whys a linear process, because it isn't. That's not the case. It is multidimensional instead and way more complex. The logic tree helps us in keeping the overall overview so we don't get stuck in a single path, or even in the wrong one. Alright, have you already considered liking and subscribing? For you it's free and it makes sure you won't miss out on the next videos, and it helps me in growing the channel. So it's a win-win. Thank you for watching. Take care. Bye.
Any questions after watching that video explaining how to use the 5 why effectively?
These are very clear.
Ian?
Clear. Very clear and stuff.
Jamar?
Are you?
No. We're at the activity section. Now, this is where we're actually going to go down by the workshop, and we're going to give you a touch into conducting, effective troubleshooting. So we're going by the workshop right now. Now we're going to conduct, a stimulated troubleshooting approach. Now, based on what we were discussing upstairs, step 1 would be what? Identify the problem. Korea, can you start the pump, please?
Yes, sir. Pump start.
Operate the flipper. the land side flipper. So when he's turning the switch around there, what should be happening? So is that the problem identified? Alright, then what would be step 2? Did we ask questions, gather information? Alright, so step 2 would be what? So isolate. So how would you go about isolating this issue?
Just checking the function block and checking the release. Just make sure that we're getting the proper output.
Alright, great. And what is step 3?
So apply.
Apply. Alright, so you identify flipper not going down. You ask the questions, gather information. Now we're going to apply a solution. What is the solution in this case? A relay is missing. Alright? So can we find a relay and put it in place? Thank you, some assistance today. Now, Korea, I want you to operate the flipper again. Now, did the apply fix work? And he's around here verifying the function, right? And it's working, so that is basically the steps in doing effective troubleshooting. Now, with that being said, I want you to tell me what you understand.
First, identify the problem. So, possible causes. For this example, when we identify that the flipper was working.
Speak louder so the camera can hear.
Alright, so first we identify the problem.
Corey, can you start the phone, please?
Identify the problem, which was the flipper wasn't working. Then we listed the possible causes. Based on the observation, we realized that a relay was missing. So once we got the relay tested, we applied a possible solution to the issue. So we found out a relay.
And then you guys verify by running the function multiple times. Alright, so in summary, troubleshooting is a way of solving issues and not just putting a band-aid on the problem but getting it out of the way so it doesn't reoccur in the future. Alright? Alright, that's it.